Hi, hello, and welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to preside over the Soul Purpose Saturday consularship, which is something the temple and the church and our sync ministries puts on bi-weekly for the purpose of soul purpose, mission, karma, destiny, helping those start their path. If you were to come inside the temple and seek counsel, typically we start with ego medicine, and then we want to help you empower yourself. Sit in your own sacred witness. Go into the library and know enough. In the newer world, we say the saying, know enough to be dangerous, know enough to get yourself into trouble, know enough to ask good questions. Okay? So after that, you tend to empower yourself. Knowledge leads to options, options leads to choices, choices leads to freedom. Soul Purpose Saturday, Soul Purpose Mission Karma Destiny, if that's going successfully, you're rating yourself positively, an assessment would prove a passing grade, let's call it. You would be knowing your gift, being of service, being in practice, and having a devotion. It's very loose. It doesn't need to be mastered. And Soul Purpose Saturday, we do talk about mastery, but that mastery is a path that you're on. And I just want to say we clearly have the channel open. Hi, hello, and welcome to Vertex of Abundance Galactic Temple of Ascension. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent by the temple to preside over the Soul Purpose Saturday consularship. So what I will be doing today is looking into a couple of things, mainly, well, I have instructions here for me. This is not the actual spread, but the precursor or the pre-wire before we start council. I have here the guidance, the directive for me, King of Pentacles. So that's the grade of 13. Me personally, that's how I read. What does 13 tell me? The coming and going, the arrival of some type of manifestation of something. And then it's a pentacle, so again, double whammy for manifestation. Some of the guidance here, if I read myself into this record, this is about working towards investments in finding your power, finding our power in the soul group. There's some type of network that we access, market that we access. It's astral in and of its nature. So there's a lot of lower forms in the astral. Here with the 10 of cups, that tells me it's about maybe ancestors, definitely soul groups, soul ties. It's something that's built up and established. It's something that's eternal with this 10. If it's in the astral, yes, many courses of this eternal cycle fade, die, if you would, purge, shed their shadow. But there's something of it that's continual, cyclical, systemic. And the system. I'm hearing the word allied systems. It's actually telling me the combination of the wheel and the moon. So that's hidden portals, hidden doors. It could even talk about forced ascension or forced incarnation. So we talk about hidden karmic cycles as well coming up and blocking access to gates, access to abundance opportunities. So it's providing a lot of context to me. Let's go ahead and start council. I think we have enough people in the room. I'm just going to check in with everyone. Hi, hello, welcome. Sound. Okay. I hope we have sound. Somebody hit the thumbs down if we don't have sound because I actually turned off the comments. I'm happy to do a couple more rounds of live counsel. You know, it seems to be positive. I'm getting some really great feedback. I appreciate it. A lot of the questions are coming via email, oracle@priestessgorgeous.org. I want to say if we're working together, I'm going to invite you to Lodge. I created a Lodge for new clients. It's ego medicine, I'll tell you. It's very dulled down based stuff. There. So, number one is the blue pill content. So, here's what I tell sleeping people. Let me know if there's something alive in you that's banging to get out because this is pretty watered down. It's not exciting. Um, so, general public email, if we have a more working relationship, whatever that is, student, child, client, otherwise, let me know that you want to step into Lodge, have access to the library. So, according to the work that we're doing, we can work that out, and I'll advocate for that as well. I just want to say hi, hello, and welcome. We're going to actually go ahead and begin. So, it seems like I was sent to help in the establishment of some type of cycle here. And what's being asked is to contribute towards investments that would complete, culminate, helping the temple here understand the place in the soul group. And um, they've asked me to gatekeep, but they want gates opening. They want expansion here. But we will hold on to people that are investing into themselves. So there we go. Let's go ahead and begin. Now, what I want to do is just go ahead and get straight guidance directly to the guidance. I'm going to shuffle Saturn into the deck here. Okay. And the Emperor came out. So that's the crown, sovereignty. The Emperor is the mature version of the Fool, okay, and the mastered version of the Magician, okay. This is system structures, foundations. Typically, it's a block, it's firmness. So, whatever the answer is, it's not changeable. Oftentimes, the answer would be no. And if it's not a no, it's usually a not now. So, it'd be interesting to see what's being blocked out. But this is for this context and purpose. I'm getting guidance that it's the conscious mind. So with the conscious mind in respect to soul purpose, mission, karma, destiny, this would be judgment, prejudgment, micro-judgment, or judgment from the physical world. Oftentimes, there is no spirituality if there's fears. Look at the red color here. So you're not worried about radiating your chakras, opening up your aura, cleaning up the color, getting it to higher or at least more blended area if you're running for your life from a lion. You're not going to worry about talking to spirits and this and that and this. Or sending messages, opening gates. If you're worried about your life, you might go directly to God or you might become reactive and not proactive. So the guidance here is think further into the future or think further from the future. Begin within the mind, work backwards from the goal, maybe. This typically for me is the ego body. So I consider you having a big ego if the devil's out with this, or if the fool is not out with this. So the part of you that is the witness is your mind, and that's typically not. I mean, okay, the channel's getting pretty strong. I need to get to the rest of the messages. You know, here for me in the conscious mind, I want you witnessing from the mind and being guided from the heart. That for me is a passing grade. Otherwise, there's still work and still coming into alignment. Because the mind that is impure, not dharmic, not righteous, it's a higher aspect of the ego. It's not it's low ego. But see here, the higher aspect of the ego is devil. There's intentional evil, accidental evil, which is like a demon, and then there's intentional evil, which is the devil. So you don't want high ego. You want natural organic ego that has temperance. Um, so I was trying to shuffle in Saturn to the deck, remember? And what happened is it came out into the intermediate influences. So far we have l'imperatore, the emperor, la peso, which is the hangman, il mondo, which is the world. Now I'm gonna just get a little bit more clarity because I'm unhappy. Well, they said shut up about it. Okay. All right. So I have a little more context. So we also have the star, and now I'm going to the subconscious mind. Okay. So this will be the subconscious mind of the collective. We have the veil, also the negative space, and we also have la ruota, the wheel. So in the negative space, we have la luna, the moon. In the subconscious mind, again, we have the la imperatrice, and we have il torre, the tower. So this is just a quick preliminary message because the cycles is pretty strong. You know, what happened after that eclipse was that, my gosh, it's basically a whole bunch of BS, a whole bunch of bull yes, boo-ish. And I'm saying bull and boo. Boo. A bunch got purged, and it's very subtle, but it's very insidious because that eclipse had a lot to do with Saturn and Pluto energy. So that's the death card. But basically, it's a strict sentence. There's no whatever came out of that deliberation. It's pretty intensely strict. Um, I mean, maybe you can get a reprieve if the Judgment in Reverse comes out, but no, you don't. You don't. um, right now, we're being asked and we're being guided to do something. And what that is, confront what is alive in you that's been growing, but up until now, you've had to make some type of surrender, some type of sacrifice. Okay? And you haven't been able to go forward. Maybe some aspect of your higher mind, your higher body, your hopes, your wishes, your desires, your soul's ambitions, your heart's desires, that why inside of you, that burning drive, that fire, that light, the thing that'll actually make you get up out of bed and fight for your life and enjoy it, not have it feel like a chore, labor. Okay, you've had to take a step back from it. I would equate it as say, hey, you're going up for a promotion, then you're told a promotion, then you're told maybe it's not yours. Or, okay, I'm hearing other things. They're not pleasant, so I won't say them. Um, there's some light, perfect, pure, or it's pure or eternal, something inexhaustible cannot be snuffed, extinguished. It can be stolen, it can be derailed, but it can't be extinguished inside of us. We've felt it a couple times, but it's been taken from us, right? And we're coming into consciousness of what that is. We're no longer going to be in this undecided, unknown, foolish place. Now we know that gift that is ours by birthright of human endowment. And we know it's been stolen, and the lie and the deception that took place to steal it, both how we were conditioned and programmed into it, and our part in the lies and deception, and what stole our power. And we're not asking for it back, we're taking it back. We will rip it out of the abuser's hand, and we'll leave them with bloody fingernails if we need be. Okay. So this power that's ours is actually our life force and our eternal spirits. Okay? And the real message behind the message is that place that we're living in, that place that our eternal spirit lives in, called our soul, the body, the vessel of our eternal spirit, called our soul, it's toxic for us. It's like a house with mold in it. We've been conditioned and programmed. So all the thoughts is radiating around our aura. We're eating it, we're shitting it, we're living in it, we're working in it, we're sleeping in it, we're feeding it to our children. The BS, the story. You know, certain types of people are taught the privilege story where they get to go on and be an abuser. Other types of people are taught the marginalized story where basically they're divided and polarized and fragmented. Okay. So now the struggle and the next judgment is going to be, how hard are you fighting for that power? It doesn't matter what happened to you. It doesn't matter how you got where you are. What's alive in you now? Because that's the chariot you're going to use to get from here to there. And there doesn't need to be clearly defined. And how you're going to get there, we don't need to know. You just need to worry about what the hell is alive in you and where you think you are going. That's the message here. There's a couple little pockets I couldn't get into, so I have to actually read it. The conscious mind has been trying to discover something, that some type of surrender or sacrifice, something that didn't happen, couldn't happen, something that was elusive, out of our hands, slipped our fingers, has come back around in a completion. Okay, and it's a double whammy for completion because crowning that is, I hope you could see. I don't know where the camera is because I really don't care, but it does actually matter. Sometimes I'm not agreeable. Pardon me. Something's come back around that couldn't be completed. There was the need for a higher spiritual perspective, but it would have looked to the person or in the cycle. Hindsight's 2020, right? It's completing, and it couldn't complete, and it was some type of surrender or sacrifice, but it was because there was a need for a higher perspective, and it would have looked like something was ripped out of your hands before, and you would have been stuck on stupid, basically looking for the karma in the situation and trying to repeat something that was going to externalize your personal power instead of aligning with spirit, aligning with the eternal nature of it. You were more fixed on what you could see, the aspect that calcifies the pineal gland. The true definition of calcifying your pineal gland is not what you're taught. And I know nobody teaches about, so even if you're going and looking in the New Age esoteric, a calcified pineal gland is when a person is using their two physical eyes more than their one spiritual eye. So if you are focused on what you can see, touch, hear, smell, touch, taste, that's you intentionally calcifying your own pineal gland, even if it's unknowingly. If you're going within for answers, that's decalcifying your pineal gland. If you're looking outside of yourself for answers, that's calcifying your pineal gland. And I'm saying that because the thing that looks out of the collective third eye is the sun. That's what the sun is, the collective third eye. And God, the person using said collective third eye, is saying, I'm going to rip out of your bloody little fingernails the BS story you have choose to regurgitate and hold on to even though it's killing you. I'm going to rip that out from your bloody little fingernails. And you can let go or be dragged, and I don't care which one you choose, but you're going to suffer whichever choice you make. So you can suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. It's up to you. Go ahead and choose how you suffer. And then, like the Lord of Karma, Saturn will give you the blessings or the curses because it's up to you which one you get. But if you're willing to do what people won't do today, you'll have what people will never have tomorrow. And what is that? The key to the promised land. To be Ingeding in the garden. That's what it is. Some of us choose to serve, and those are the ones who have the keys in and out of heaven. But heaven is very not individual. The promised land, you have your unique spirit that's devoid of what would keep you under the vibration of the devil. So let's just tune into the world a little bit and see what we're going to get. Give me just a quick second. I have something coming that needs to go. That's what it is. Okay. So it seems like we're in a position. I have some guidance already for me getting in here. Um, it seems like we're in a position where we're being given the gift of moving on, moving forward, but we're stuck behind. So now we need to face our karma. We need to face our licking. We need to get our whooping before we move on because we were told. So some of us grew up in black households. We understand what that means. um, For non melanated people, it's basically like when your friends tell you, I told you so. And your friends would be your spiritual guides, your ancestor spirits. But, I mean, I'm hearing all types of examples. I could choose which one to use. I don't want to use ones. The one that's the strongest is it's like you keep getting tickets in the mail and you don't pay them for whatever reason. Whether or not you're planning to take care of it or not, for whatever reason, you don't. And then you come out of your house one day or your work one day and your car has a boot on it. And now the whole world is looking at you, not moving on, move forward. Literally, not moving on, moving forward. Your chariot, they took the spoke of one of your wheels and disabled it. So when a wheel gets disabled, that means something very specifically on a karmic cycle. Literally, the Wheel of Fortune can be called the Wheel of Karma. Basically, for me as a gatekeeper, that tells me, okay, now we have the Lords of Karma. Look for cycles. This is if the well, for me, if the magician is a messenger, this would be the table he sits at, and this would be the collective he belongs to. Because the only other messenger is a person who delivers a mystery. This is a person conducting a very specified amount of business. Okay. So it's very particular. And in the sense of the Lords of Time are involved. So the Lords of Time are involved in cycles of ascension. And in this case, it's collective ascension. So, in that sense, you would be basically, are you an ascended being? Are you working for the collective? That would be rated as, are you working for the universal oneness and the love vibration? Or are you not an ascended being, stuck under some cycle because you are attached to your karma for whatever reason? To you, it's somebody else's fault, but for whatever reason, you're choosing not to move forward, so you're not in alignment with your personal power, you've externalized it. You might even be participating in cycles that are creating karma and heavy karma and dirty karma. You may even be one that does harm towards others, whether it's intentional or otherwise, and perpetually. So that's the kind of rating that we have here. And for Soul Purpose Saturday, I mean, for Soul Purpose Saturday, we asked the question, okay, here. What is the change you need to make to be most abundant? Truly. If you're given the option to work from the field of moving through all the ideas, all the beliefs, all the conditioning and the programming that has kept you small, great. If you want the key to your own house that's always been yours, but somebody took it away and told you you have to go work for a house, but you were born with the house, here you go, here's your key back. You and the last 12 generations of your family, here you go, here's reparations. What are you going to do with that? Because that's what it is. You're in a physical body. Your ancestors, whoever they are, whatever they did, they got you here. What are you going to do with that key, honey? So, if you're not doing everything you can to drive your life forward, because there's something alive in you that's speaking, you need to go into a practice. If there's something not alive in you, you need ego medicine. Because what's alive in you is witnessing from a material sense. Okay? So if something's alive in you, something eternal is speaking. And typically it would be your drive, desires, passions, motivations. You know you're doing well if you know what your gift are. Now, if there's things alive in you that you don't know what your gift is, that's still great because you're going out and you're working on your talent and you're seeing what you're good at. Once you see what you're good at and it's so good that you're not learning it while you're doing it, but you're actually remembering it from previous lifetime, that's your gift. Once you find your gift, we need to figure out how to use that to serve the world. Kind of similar to a light worker, basically, a light worker. But you have a gift. That's your spiritual practice. And then you have a secret, a relationship with the goddess who gives you grace and protection and makes sure that all of your material needs are met. When you find your gift, it's usually a god, some type of power, some type of God is awareness, goddess is power. It's hard for the third dimensional Western to understand that. Basically, you have your Shiva and your Shakti. So Shiva is awareness, Shakti is power. In our practice, we call them matrikas. So you have your Dasha Avatara and you have your Navdurga. So that's when you master, but you start with your matrika. Who is your mother? Who is your womb? In this world, they use Satanism as the false mother, and they hide it from you, and they do it overtly and covertly. So everything we're conditioned and programming, buying Christmas presents, saying hello to people, celebrating birthdays, going to job, punching a time clock, living and earning wage, mortgage, soldier, hour. We're doing satanic stuff. That's what the new world is. USA under Satan's authority, the US dollar literally being a hell note, literally being the devil's currency, materialism, celebrity, false idols, all of that. It's Satanism. And then we're conditioned and programmed on Luciferianism. White power, white pride, white privilege, bad poor people, bad this, bad that. Inverting power. It's Satanism. Okay. The real truth, the real truth, okay, is your mother is one of 8 energies. Your mother is not the money god. That's Satan. It could be generator, operator, destroyer versus gold, oil, and drugs, or gold, oil, and death, which is commercialized meat industry and the commercial military industrial complex. Okay. So, generator, operator, destroyer, there's 8 wombs of the goddess that you come through. If you look at a compass, and you also have the four corners of the compass with the, you know, northwest, north, south, northeast, or northwest, north, south, northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast. Combine those, you have 8. It's very technical, but actually very natural. In India, the tradition is you have 7 mothers, 7 matas. Your professor's wife, your mother's sister is your actual mother, typically your boss's wife, your guru's wife, your mother-in-law, all of your aunties. These are mothers. Okay? You have wombs where the goddess takes care of you. It basically translates to like the oldest tree or the world tree, the highest mountain, the river closest to where you are. These are channels, gates. So when you have your power back, your crown back, your sovereignty back, you are the gatekeeper. You can come and go from heaven, earth. You have the keys to the promised land. Nobody tells you what you're worth, how much, where your children can go to school. You don't have to go and work, spending your time working for money. You could figure out a way to break free, to find your money and have it work for you, or to get your hustle on, or whatever. And if you're not in that place, you can get to that place, but you need to tune into a vibration. Because who you want to be determines what you do, therefore determining what you have. And if all you're doing is thinking and thinking about the wrong things, you're attracting the wrong things and reinforcing whatever your belief of who you are is. And there are some shortcuts, but the shortcuts are cutting things out. They're not doing things to skip a step. The shortcuts are not adding all the things in front of you. The shortcut is to get on a path and find a guru because they can destroy darkness. So basically, the thing that everybody has to do to get back to relieving themselves from suffering is to remove all the obstacles to ecstatic bliss. Because the average person will just go on creating suffering, trying to get out of suffering because of ignorance. That's how traditional spiritual models are founded, and that's what Soul Purpose Saturday is for. Here, the message out of this specific Soul Purpose Saturday is about some surrender sacrifice before that seemed like something was taken away from you. It's come back around for you to see your power in the situation. And you really need to learn what was stolen from you however long ago and need to be mad about it or motivated about it to get up out of it. And you choose whether you succumb to it because you create a bunch of excuses and you hide in the dark, or whether you relieve yourself from it because you decide to fight for something. Whatever you focus on is what you'll create. The key is whatever you see and imagine in your mind can step into the physical. You could actually see an entire world in your third eye, and you can create that world here on earth. You might even wake up in that world. But you have to wake up. And you wake up with your eyes closed. You see the light alive inside of you. That's how we get out of this eclipse corridor where we succeed, because basically this eclipse is basically padding out the devil's ledger. It's like right after tax season when they divvy up all the audits going to happen for the rest of the year. You know, if you file an extension and pay your taxes around October 15, 90% of the audits have been allocated, so you're definitely probably not going to get allocated. If you live in America, it's one of those little tips and tricks. It's just like that. Eclipse in Capricorn, eclipse in Cancer. It's gatekeeping heaven and hell. You know, the consciousness of heaven and where God lives is Gemini, but the heart of God is Cancer. The gatekeeping to hell, well, that's the sphincter. That's literally where your anus is. The sphincter, that's Scorpio. Well, the one who controls what goes in and out of the sphincter, whatever you're thinking, because, you know, playing with the back door, it's spiraling downwards, not spiraling upwards. So if you get lost in physical pleasure, you've missed the point there. But that's Capricorn, the gatekeeper to hell. That's the one who chooses. If the body is the first chakra, the third chakra is the mind, it controls what comes in and out of the body. It's that kind of mystery. So that's the story for us here. Is we can okay, I'm hearing a message. We can get stuck at the comfortable degree on the thermostat. It's like hot yoga. Hot yoga is a very distinctive experience. I have similar experiences when I sit in a lodge, a sweat lodge, because sometimes, if you're familiar with the sweat lodge, you want to run and flee. It's like a sauna or a jacuzzi that's too hot. And there's usually I'm having personal issues. A lot's coming out of me where I'm like, F this and F that and F you and F her and F this and rawr, I want to bite someone's head off. And then she's just like, okay, I'm having issues with somebody. And I can usually tolerate the issues with somebody as long as I'm not smelling them. I can't deal with foul odors, especially from people. And that's usually when I want to run the most, is when I smell something that's just foul. Because it's like, okay, I'm going to be stuck in the physical aspect. I can't run away to my spiritual little wormhole. And that's very similar to like what they're telling me to describe as this experience. It's kind of like, okay, the job, the edict is to move on, move forward, to get to higher ground, to see things from a higher perspective. And you're going to have to sacrifice, surrender your thinking structure, typically your belief, how you structure your beliefs, things of that nature, how you choose to see the situation, for layman's terms. And it's because the nature of the situation is like, okay, lethargy. Like if you're not hoping, wishing, praying for something, you're going to be dying with whatever you have because you're going to be satisfied with it. But it's toxic. It was designed to kill you. So if you don't hope for anything bigger, brighter, and better, you're not going to get any bigger, brighter, and better. And that means you don't get any living, any life. Because you're a lamb who's been cloned or, you were born a lion when you came out of God's house. And through your little DNA, they gave you the ability to convince yourself that you're a lamb. And so as your body regenerates, it goes from a lion into a lamb. And you wake up one day realizing that you were told to be a lamb. And if you don't want to become a lion, you're going to get slaughtered. And they tell you, here's the work to do because according to the terms of the agreement, we get to deceive you, but we have to hide all the little truth of the deception in there so that your higher self can discover this truth. If you have something alive in you that wants to be eternal and not stuck on stupid. So you get the choice. I'm going to be lazy, Four of Cups, or I'm going to go and pursue ecstatic bliss. I'm going to guide myself out. So that was today's Soul Purpose Saturday. Let's pull a I'm gonna take the easy way out because I exhausted myself trying not to yell at everybody. I was getting very upset personally because I was seeing a lot of whiny, wounded women shit. Excuse me. I'm a little bitch too sometimes, so I'm qualified to judge. This weaselly shit. Excuse my language. I hope you don't have kids present. Just people crying because life came to get them and they weren't willing to live it, and just not showing up and participating. Just, if you bring up a problem, come with a solution. That, we all, I cannot, we all don't show up. I don't respond fast enough, or I take some time thinking about things. It pisses people off. But I'm talking about, you know, okay, basically it's the belief system. The belief system is harming a lot of people. What is the card that we got? See the synchronicity. Whoa. Okay, well, I'll tell a personal story. This is on the grounds of be open to spiritual guidance. You know, God's trying to bless me a lot lately, and I'm always second guessing a lot, and it's starting to cost me. So, you know, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth kind of thing, but I've had a lot of people come as chosen horses as well. That's the situation I'm going through. I'm not going to share the details. If you're a sister in lodge, you can ask me about it. Um, Here it says, see the synchronicity, so I'm just laughing at myself. Take a note of all the synchronistic happenings and coincidences that occur on this day, and do not allow anything to take you out of alignment with the vibration of the Creator if they're trying to bless you. Because that, whatever it is, that's a distraction, that's a demon for you. Um, and know that nothing happens by accident, is what this is saying. Your goal is to appreciate the divine details that are woven into every moment of your life. And it came with the clarifier of be open to spiritual guidance. So ponder this question. How do you expect your prayers and guidance to come to you? Literally in a vision? Are you someone who says that you are waiting for your prayers to be answered because you want guidance that includes a safety net? Your goal is to own up to your own spiritual insecurities and lack of faith. You know, that reminds me of the story of like there's this person and they're drowning and like they have three opportunities and then they die and they get to heaven and they're like, well, God, why didn't you come save me? And he has a punchline. So I'll give you the punchline at the end. But the first is like he's drowning, right? A river or a flood is coming and he's drowning and somebody comes by on a, like a hovercraft and they're like, hop on. He's like, hey, you know, I'm waiting for God to come save me. I'm waiting for my miracle. And then they're like another opportunity comes by. It's like somebody comes by with a lifeboat, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm waiting for God to come save me, but thanks though." And then finally somebody comes by with a helicopter and puts down a ladder, right? Um, and he's like, "Hey, no, man, I'm okay. You know, I'm waiting for God to come save me." So he finally dies. And he's in heaven, and he's like, God, why didn't you come save me? And God looks at him, and he's like, you dumb mother little fool. I sent three entities to assist you in your endeavors, and you refused them. So that's insanity. And I have another message here. It says, take steps to get healthy. So if you're the person who's refusing the lifeboat and the hovercraft and the helicopter with the rope and the ladder, because you have some figment of your imagination where this is how your blessings are going to come to you. That's called insanity, and you may be ill. You may have some illness. Okay? And I hope that hurts you because maybe then you're listening. Okay? If I triggered you, you're welcome. You hear what I'm saying? Let's talk about this for a minute. Take steps to get healthy. Your mind has an illness. It's called darkness, and the devil gave it to you. So the first thing when you get better is stop consuming what is making you sick. If you're attached and addicted to some person, place, or thing that is destroying you, it is toxic. So detox means you stop consuming the toxic substance and you let it be purified from your body. It's a two-step process, but it's a three-step process when you create a practice not to consume it anymore. Because it can be cunning and baffling, especially if it's an addiction. And it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to do something about it. Right? So you may have been conditioned and programmed into whatever is killing you. You want to make sure you're not killing anybody else with it. You could be giving it to your husband, giving it to your kids, giving it to your coworkers. And it could be a belief. It could be an actual food substance. You could be on drugs or porn addiction or love addiction or whatever bullshit it is. It's toxic. Foo foo, foo foo. That's what I used to do when I didn't like things. Because people would try to peer pressure me, so I just start witch doctoring them. Foo foo, foo foo. Okay, so take steps to get healthy. Think about one aspect of your health. It can be your physical health, etc., that you've been neglecting or avoiding, and ask yourself, why have you been doing so? Perhaps your diet, and that could be whatever, people, places, and things, needs to change, or you need to practice more. That can be anything. Withdrawing your energy, exercising your boundaries, physical exercise, a proper diet. Your goal is to end the day by committing to one new step. And each day, work on identifying why you're choosing to sabotage or heal yourself. And as you work towards each step of that practice, opportunities to question why you're choosing to sabotage or heal will come up. That's really powerful. Let's clarify a little bit. I like that. See the good in everything. I see the God in you. I'm hearing that song, India Ari. I see the God in you. I don't know the lyrics to that. It's just really making me feel very good. I feel beautiful right now. Like a warmness came over me. I feel bliss. I'm seeing dragonflies and butterflies. So this is talking a lot to me about transformation. Now, my heart really got warmed when I saw this card. Let me show it to you. I'm hearing the song India Ari, I See the God in You. I cannot. The lyrics have escaped me. So quilting, I make quilts. I'm a thread worker, a fiber worker. I knit, I crochet, I macrame. I love quilt making. In the morning, I sit by the door with my little smoker thing, and I knit while I'm smoking a joint. So that's my little morning ritual. And especially when I'm getting like a beat down from the spirits, to kind of grin and bear it, I'll just sit there knitting. When I've been a little stupid and I'm getting the I told you so. So, I wouldn't advocate for everybody to medicate like I do when they're smoking. I mean, when they're practicing. It's just that I'm a Saturn priest, and that's actually a common thing. Usually, you have to add flower substances, and you shouldn't do it during the day. Okay, it should happen after the sun is set. It should happen on Fridays and Saturdays. It shouldn't happen on other days. For instance, Friday morning, you don't want to do that. So, anyways, see the good in everything. This is a day for optimism only. No matter what comes your way, your task is to see only the favorable attributes in it. Your goal, to practice the power of positive thinking. Yeah, this could be the day your boyfriend broke up with you, or this could be the day that you found your personal power. This could be the day that somebody betrayed you, or this could be the day that you realized your self-worth or value. Okay. So whatever you focus on is what's going to happen. If you're driving down the street saying don't get in an accident, don't get a ticket, what is the universe going to hear? Well, this person's fractured, this person's polarized. Send the police, send Interpol their way. Whatever is going to happen. If you say get home safely, get home without any challenges, what is the universe going to deliver you? Your driveway or a parking space. Okay? So it's up to you. See the good in everything. So, you know, I have a practice around that because I have the gullible, it's my problem challenge. It's very specific to Cancer energy. So when something happens, I just say, okay, this hurt me. I feel this. I feel that. What does that tell me? Okay, well, I don't want this to happen again. Well, what do I need? Well, this is why I keep getting to these situations. Okay, so next time, what I'm going to do for myself is what? I'm going to love honestly and openly, but with boundaries. What does that mean? So that I know the next time I'm not saying, let's not have this happen. Don't do this. 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 Because the universe is going to give you whatever is in your mind. So if you're saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, all the universe is hearing is this. Give the child this, give the child this, whatever you're saying. When you're like, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this, then the universe is going to give you this. Whatever it is. So I always what I'm trying to say is let your feelings come out because that informs your experience, but don't let it impress you. Let it impress upon you. So to impress you, you'll be overtaken by it. If it impresses upon you, it'll inform your experience, and you could, mitigate those circumstances better. So I don't ever like a practice that dishonors and disowns what it is that you feel, because feelings aren't bad, and that's actually why you incarnate. It's just most people let their feelings govern them, and that's really illogical. And it's typically a problem for empaths as well. So let me just clarify this a little bit more. Okay, notice subtle changes. So yeah, you need to have your witness give you. Okay, what that's telling me is there's certain areas of the body you'll know what the feelings are. So if I'm tight in my chest, it's actually telling me that this person has a challenge. Like I shouldn't trust them. If I'm tight in my abdominal area, it's actually just telling me that this person has a lot of negative karma. If I'm tight in my third eye, it means this person's deceptive and there's things they want to withhold from me. They want to paint some type of illusion. If I'm tight in my throat, it means I actually need to help them. I can't. So that's for me what the subtle changes is. Everybody has their own gift. There's clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaliant, clear smell, claircognizant, clear knowing. So depending on your gift, there's always two that are already there, and then you can work on the rest of them. Okay. So color is a power. Select, yeah. So I used to not see auras and I do lately. Okay. Color is a power. Select a color you don't normally wear and introduce it to your wardrobe. The change, okay. This changes energy in your field, introducing your sense of, including your sense of self. Your goal is to discover how subtle changes can increase or decrease your comfort level. You know, I do this. It's called a 9 ping reading, a 7 ping reading. Um, so I'll go through your. It happens in the spiritual wellness evaluation. It's not cheap, but it actually I suggest you get it every year. So it's good to do around your birthday or the exact degree of your rising sign. So you can look up an ephemeris search engine and you can figure that out or email me or call at priestessgorgeous.org. So yellow. I suggest most people wear yellow because that's Jupiter. Saturn is purple, dark blues, even black. Wear black with gold. Wear black with white. Wear black with green. Do not wear black with red. Do not do it and call it guidance from me. Okay. I would wear all white. I would wear yellow. You need to get your naming ceremony done to know if black is the color that you can wear. That's where I'm at with this. So I'm hearing yellow because it's Jupiter and that's the healing here. So also make yourself Mondays wear all white. If you can skip work once or twice every couple of months, do it. Fast. So wake up and within 15 minutes, have warm water. Just drink warm water, first cup of water. Warm water. Within 15 minutes of waking up. Nothing else, just warm water. Wait 15 minutes. It's gonna mess you up. It will the first time you do that. It will mess you up because it's gonna purge you in ways that you don't even know exist. And then to start having water for the rest of the day. If you get overwhelmingly hungry, have a handful of seeds, nuts, something of that nature. I have cucumber water all day. That's considered cheating. So as the sun is setting, then have a glass of 1 glass of milk, and I have a shot glass of milk with turmeric or saffron. A lot of people know what I'm talking about, the golden milk and all that other stuff. That's my practice on Mondays. I take the day off. I do all spiritual things. So I do like 3 mantras in the morning, 108 times each. I usually do a Kali mantra, Shiva mantra, and then something for Guru Dev. So my Guru Dev is Dattatreya. I don't know about you. I would be able to tell you in council. Okay, I'm a Shani Devata, meaning I serve Shani. These are things that you would know after your naming ceremony or your practice assessment. But on Mondays, what I tell you to do is don't do spiritual work, dress all white, fast, and don't like do spiritual work for other people, and do your own practice. That's the day also where I get down on my hands and knees, I scrub the floor, I clean my whole house, I do everything. My laundry, clean my countertops, wash my floors, sweep my yard, all of that. And I pray to God, and I dress all white except when I'm cleaning, and I bathe, and then I fast all day. And at night, as the sun is setting, what I'll do is I'll have a shot of milk with either turmeric or saffron. So that's even the color thing. If you can't do all that, or you can not take Monday off, then wear yellow. And if you're in a place where you have like a uniform or whatever, then wear white undergarments. Now, change your sheets, women, to white, please. You can have, don't have colors on your sheets until you get your naming ceremony. You know whose goddess you're a child of. Now, it's only okay to wear colors when you're bleeding, I call it when the bitch is in town, but when you're on your cycle, when you're mooning, then don't have white sheets. And there's no shame. I'm not shaming you. I don't want, that's not my intention. It's just a cleanliness thing, because when you're shedding, it's your time to withdraw from the world and purge and purify. It's not that makes you dirty, it's that it brings you more to physical dimension. And if you're purging energy that you took on and absorbed that was more toxic, that's the whole connotation of being dirty. So as a female vessel, you're moon oriented. So you absorb energy from other people. And if you're not already in white all day, purging and purifying all day, hey, there's going to be some toxicity coming out of you that you might just picked up from somewhere. So I don't advocate for people working for other people or working outside the house or not working for a flexible organization like a temple, because not everybody can take the time off during the month when they're on their cycle. And men have their own thing. When Mars enters the sign, your physical body goes through issues, men. So Mars is the energy of being stuck in somewhere. Think of being put in a cage. So you can get out of the cage, but it's going to be according to where Mars is transiting and how that works for you. So I'm a Sag rising, so Mars right now is in Cancer, so that means Mars is in my 8th house. Then Mars is going to move into the 9th house. So whatever happens, you'll have physical things. Some men respond with anxiety, fear. Some men respond with sweating. Some men respond with libido. Does that make sense? But men and women have something they need to take into account. And with the moon, it's colors. And you really shouldn't do that, women, because you have a job, a God job. You have to serve him here. And men need to support you in serving God. There's many gods and goddesses that don't come when a man calls, but they'll come immediately when a woman calls. The divinities, the elevated spirits. Okay? So that's what it is. I wouldn't start with all these different colors until you know your name, you know your practice. So start with white. White on Mondays, white as much as possible. Yellow on Fridays. White undergarments. White bed sheets. Male, female. Recognize one major area of insecurity in your life and see how much it disempowers you. Your goal is to observe whether you are proactive or passive, since healing requires proactive energy. Identify the small action you can take to release that insecure feeling. Be proactive. A lot of people have fears around the spiritual practice. They don't want to get into trouble. They don't want to do ever, whatever. You know, foolishness will kill the child, but the goddess will never kill the child for being foolish. So the goddess won't kill the child for being foolish, especially with the pure-hearted intent, but foolishness will eventually kill the child. So do better when you know better. I love to make tea. Put a lot of herbs in tea. And I like, if you come to the temple, if you come to my house, if you come around me, I'm going to start giving you tea. That's my thing. I give everybody tea. I love tea. I love tea. If you get to know me, you'll know that I love pistachios and I love tea. It's the first thing you notice. So when I first got into botanica, brujeria, curanderia, back in 2012, 2014, If you come to my kitchen, you'll see jars and jars and jars of herbs. I literally have a whole shelf full of jars of herbs. You can see it. Um, I would give people some of the herbs would be poisonous. So now I know better. But and you do weird things, get headaches, whatever. Some herbs you don't give pregnant women, whatever. Now I know better. But when I first started out, I would be having tea that was poisonous. Not like belladonna or anything like that, but like, rue, you shouldn't drink it. It's poisonous. You can drink vervain. A lot of people mix rue and vervain together. Little things, little things. So be proactive. We all have fears about our spiritual practice. Focus on your intent. Don't worry about what you're saying when you're praying. Just pray. Get your heart open. Eventually, you'll learn the right things to say. Okay? Focus on the dots immediately. Start to recognize the dots before you worry about connecting the dots. Okay? When you're starting out, it's about a spiritual practice, not a spiritual perfection. Be proactive. Recognize the major area of insecurity and then go towards it. Combat your fear. Don't avoid your fears. If you're fearful, that means you're on the right track. Be what's called counterphobic. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you today. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. If anything I said resonated deeply with you, go ahead and contact me, Oracle at priestessgorgeous.org. Also, the booking link is in the show notes. There is a special going on for your wellness evaluation or your primal soul assessment, 46% off. Okay, determine whether you're someone who's always giving to others or feels unnoticed and unappreciated. Your goal is to examine whether your interactions with others leave you empowered or disempowered. People, places, and things, folks. If this applies to you, it may be because you have a private agenda or seek love that is built into the motivation to be of service. Are you doing things for what you're going to get in return? Your goal is to release the predilection to complain and instead see the positive side of things. No matter whether you share complaints with others or keep them to yourself, honestly assess whether you have an inner narrative. Okay? Tendency of way of looking into the situation without seeing potential blessings. Potential blessings. Again, this card came out twice. Release the need to complain. A lot of people are carrying darkness in their aura, and they're wanting and they're going after the light, but the darkness that they have naturally is blocking them. So the most darkness that people have, because most people are good people, they're just stuck in dark things. It's their belief system. We think toxic thoughts all the time. Not everybody is horny for some dick and calling in devils to their bedroom. Not everybody's a liar, cheater, or stealer. Some people are good-hearted people, but we have toxic thinking, or we're around toxic people, and we let them hurt our feelings, and we carry that hurt around a lot. Okay? So I have a problem of having to serve a lot of toxic people. There's a lot of clients, people, friends around me. These are people in fellowship, sisters that I just support. I have to take a spiritual bath nearly every night, okay? Put it that way. Shedding and purging a lot. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Go ahead and smash that like button, baby. Take good care of yourself. Bye, everyone.